Dun, dun, da-da, da-da, da-da. Hey guys, welcome back to All Jokes Aside with Kobe and Maria. I'm Kobe. Joining me today is
Maria, hey guys.
Maria's here as always. And if you caught the little wedding tune at the beginning, today is a very bridal episode of the podcast. Maria, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about my wedding day.
You know, we really should have talked about this on the Valentine's Day episode, but it's fun. Better late than never.
Well, it was kind of last minute anyway. We did have another episode planned, and this was kind of last minute. So, but we're gonna roll with it. It's gonna be great.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. Um,
Um,
Maria, go ahead. Take it away.
no, no, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I wasn't going to say anything, to be honest. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you eat your ice cream while I sit here
Mm.
and ramble.
Um,
Um,
for reference, because I know bitches are nosy, I am eating an Oreo Blast with cookie dough from Sonic, and it's very good. This is not sponsored by Sonic. I wish, but thank you, Sonic, for the blast.
they would be embarrassed to sponsor us, to be honest.
Why? We're so real. They had a Paris Hilton and Nicole drink. They would not be
Mm,
embarrassed.
true. But anyway, so this goes back to this was 11/11/23, November 11th of 2023. Me and my husband, now husband, got married. Um, he proposed on the beach. It was really cute. Like he got it on video and everything. Um, he was very nervous. He's a very shy person as it is, so he was very, very nervous. But anyway, the whole way home from this beach trip, my parents were actually on the trip with us too. But sorry. On the way back from the beach trip, me and my mom were like planning this wedding. You know, we were so excited. Like, this is my thing. I love planning stuff like this, okay? And so, anyway, you know, we're sitting there doing our guest list, like who all we're going to invite. And I'm pretty sure I had actually picked out my venue on the way home. Like, you know, we had a good 8-hour drive. So, we were able to pick out our venue. But anyway, we got all that stuff done. So that's just kind of like the backstory of like the proposal and like leading up to it. Um, Planning wise, me and my mom done like 90% of it. We had a really good time doing it. Like Pinterest saved our life. Um, but anyway, you know, I knew who I would have as my bridesmaids, and then Noel knew who he would have as his groomsmen, and we knew we wouldn't have any like drama with any of them because we never really had drama with any of our friends that we had. So we were really happy with that, who we picked out and stuff. Kobe actually, Noel had you as a groomsman.
Yeah, I'm still kind of pissed off that I wasn't the maid of honor, but it's fine.
Yeah. So we had Kobe convinced. It was really funny that he was. What did I say you were gonna be? You were gonna be like the cake
You would
cutter.
no, you told me I was gonna be like a greeter. I don't like talking to
Yes.
people. It's like
Yeah.
people that I don't know. I don't like talking to strangers.
Well, you know I wasn't gonna do you that way, but we had you convinced that's what we were gonna do.
No, deep I was really hurt, like, deep down, I was like, "My best friend is getting married, and she wants me to work her wedding and not be in it."
Yeah.
I was very
So
hurt, and then y'all surprised me, and I ended up crying.
yeah, it was cute. We got it on video too. But anyway, I would talk about the bachelor and bachelorette party. I'll kind of sum it up. I feel like that's a whole episode in its own. But we ended up getting this big beach, or not beach house, lake house. It was on the lake. And we ended up staying there a weekend, and it was really fun. Most of the bridal party got to come, but not everybody, which is expected. It's hard to get, 14 people in one place at one time. But anyway, we had a blast. We rented a pontoon boat. There wasn't any drama. We played like hide and seek in the dark. It was really fun.
We
Jack
had a great
box.
time, honestly, it's like a core memory. That weekend is a core memory.
Yes, for sure. Like, we rented on the pontoon boat, we actually rented one of the, like, tubes to go tubing. That was really fun. But anyway, that's kind of another backstory. So, like, we also did a joint bachelor slash bachelorette party so that everybody could get to know one another that didn't know anybody already. So we did that as kind of like a bonding trip too. Um, but anyway, flash forward to the wedding day. Um, I'd actually took off the day before to go decorate. So I did a lot of decorating too. I know a lot of brides don't decorate, but I wasn't about to spend like an extra couple $1,000s just to have somebody decorate it when I could just do it myself when I know that it would be how I wanted it, you know what I mean?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So, right. And then I had a couple bridesmaids to help me decorate too. And then we had the rehearsal that night. That went pretty good. Um, the wedding day, woke up. Let me get my notes out here because me and Kobe actually prepared this time and wrote down names for everybody, like fake names for everybody. I remember I woke up and I called Rachel and I was like, "Hey," I said, Rachel's actually one of my bridesmaids. Um, I said, "Hey, Rachel, is Shayna still coming to pick you up this morning?" And I remember her telling me like, "No, she hasn't called me." And I think I had told all the bridesmaids to get there by 8, no later than 8 that morning. And I was running late as it was. It was like 7:30 and I was 45 minutes away from the venue still. Um, so me and Rachel blew Shayna's phone up. I don't know if I ever told you about this, Kobe.
No, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I know
Shayna
this. Yeah.
yeah, Shayna, long story short, she ended up sleeping in, like, on accident. Like, I'm not mad at her or anything about it. It's kind of funny now looking back on it. But I really thought she bailed. Like, no lie.
Right.
So, but anyway, it's okay. I ended up picking Shayna up that morning and it all worked out. Um, but the whole morning went pretty smooth. Like we got ready. Um, all of us girls did, like my mom, Noelle's mom, all of us bridesmaids, and then we also had two and a half, if we're counting Blake, Kobe.
Yeah.
Um, two and a half wedding like coordinators. But the two main ones were Kaylee and Shakira.
Mhm.
So they helped out a ton that day. Like shout out to them. Like they helped a whole lot. Like honestly, it wouldn't have went as smoothly as it did without them. Um, but I remember what else do I remember? So the morning went by pretty smoothly.
Gosh, it went
Um,
by so slow.
well, see, for me it was different because we had so much to do.
I know y'all did. Listen, for all my fellas out there that have ever been in a wedding, you know that you just sit around for hours because there's nothing for you to do. I mean, there's certain instances, of course, but I mean, like, if you're in the wedding, if you're the groom, or if you're one of the groomsmen, there is nothing to do. Oh,
Yeah.
I sat in a room with those boys. I'm gonna say boys. I
I
sat in a room with
honestly
those boys while they all sat on their phones and were talking about how they couldn't wait to drink, and it was just oh my gosh. That was a long couple of hours, that's all I'm gonna say. Love those guys. Love them all. But oh my gosh, that was a long day.
I'm sure. That's why I was part of the girls.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. What was I gonna say? I forgot. I was gonna comment on that about something. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I should have ran y'all more than I did because there was so
We
much
would've
stuff to do.
I kept asking. I kept asking, I kept asking Kaylee if there was anything she needed me to do, was like, "Is there anything you need me to do?" And she kept saying, "No, no, you're fine. You just need to stay right here. You just need to stay right here where I can find you." And then she had Blake running around, and he was crying by the end of the day
Oh my
because
gosh.
he got so overwhelmed.
Overall, the wedding day was not much of a disaster, to be honest. Like, I think it went by pretty smooth.
Mhm.
The only thing that really stands out is what my
But
aunt did.
yeah, the incident, I was gonna say that's the
Oh,
only chaotic thing that really stood out to me.
yes. So, long story short, my aunt loves attention. And so I have two aunts and an uncle. And then there's my mom, okay? This is my mom's siblings. Um, so my uncle was actually on his way to the venue because I told my family to get there about, an hour and a half early so we could get pictures made with them. And that way they knew like where to be, if we needed any more help with anything. We just wanted everybody there earlier than we needed them to be. So
Mhm.
my uncle was running a little late, so he had actually called my aunt. Well, actually, let me just tell you this. So one of my aunts was in the room with us getting ready, and she was sitting there. And I remember she got a phone call on her phone, and she
As you
answered.
do on your phone.
Yeah, she answered it and immediately started crying, like squalling. This is not like a, you know, sappy little cry, like a quiet cry. Like she started bawling her eyes out, like squalled, screaming. And my mom is, she's already a nervous wreck as it is.
And
She looks over
your
there.
mom is an emotional person anyway.
Yes, very emotional.
Mhm.
And she looked over at my aunt and she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Like what's going on?" And you know, when she hears someone crying like that, the first thing she thinks of is someone died. Like that's just my mom. That's just who she is. Or like someone's gotten hurt. Well, my aunt was like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, what are they saying?" Well, she hangs up the phone and she looks at my mom. And this room is full of people. Like, I'm pretty sure my now sister-in-law was in there with her kid. And then I had, my five bridesmaids. I had my mom, Noelle's mom, her, um, my two coordinators, my makeup artist, my hair like it was packed in there. And I remember my aunt saying, Jeff, which is my uncle, has been in a car accident and they don't think that he's going to make it. Okay. So, you know, everyone's in like shock. My mom starts bawling her eyes out, crying, squalling, joining in with her. And I'm sort of like in shock, but like I know not to react yet because I know who she heard it from. It was from my other aunt. Someone had called her. So I'm like, of course I'm upset, like, worried, but at the same time, I don't react yet because when I hear stuff like that, I don't immediately cry. Like, I'm more of like in shock first, okay?
Mhm.
So, and like I was in fight or flight, like I also just paid $100 to get my makeup done. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not saying that like if something did actually happen, I wouldn't cry because of that. But you know what I mean? I didn't want to get worked up too soon without knowing anything for sure first.
Right, and it's your special day, like, you don't want to like, you already have so much on your plate, you don't need this. Even
Yeah,
if it's true, like, wait until after the wedding.
yeah,
Time and
yeah,
place. Time and
yeah,
place.
yeah. So anyway, um, about 2 or 3 minutes passes by. I remember my maid of honor like had everybody come in a circle and pray. Like we had a prayer and everything. And you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Sound like he was choking. But anyway, so I remember about 2 or 3 minutes passed. We said like a prayer, and like we were sitting there, and we were also ready to take pictures at this point. This is a very, very important thing to say here. Like we were ready to take pictures, so the photographer and videographer is waiting on us. So I'm like, okay, everybody pull it together, like 2 or 3 of my bridesmaids were crying, whatever. And I'm like in shock. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And all I remember was my videographer said, so like, are we not taking pictures now? And I was like, whoa, whoa, you're going to have to wait a minute. Like, for real. Like, I get it. You want me to get pictures done, but wrong timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I remember, I think it was Kaylee, one of my coordinators, the main coordinator. She walked out the door, was trying to figure out, more word of what was going on. And she brought my dad in there. And my dad looked at my mom and he was like, what's the word? Consoling her? Is that what it's called?
Consoling her, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, trying
So
to
he
calm her
was like,
down, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And he was like, it's going to be okay. We don't know for sure yet what's going on. And I remember he goes back out. He steps out for a second, I think, if I'm remembering it right. And then he comes back in and he just kind of laughs. And my mom was like, what are you laughing at? Like, she was pissed.
Mhm.
And he said, Jeff's outside. Him and his wife just got out of the car. They're here.
Mhm.
And everybody's like, what? Like, what is going on? Long story short, my crazy aunt, the one that delivered the news, had got his words twisted up and said that he had actually said that, hey, we're not going to make it there on time. There's been a bad wreck on the interstate.
Mhm.
And so, and it ended up it did not ruin the day. I'm not going to say it ruined the day because we had a great day, but ended up,
Yes, it definitely the mood shifted.
yeah, it did.
The mood
Uh,
shifted, and it was just it caused all this negative it caused so much negative strain of energy. Because I remember, that y'all were in a whole separate building, like, away from us, and word traveled to us, and so we're all sitting here like, "Holy crap, what is going on?" Because we literally didn't have anything to do, so we were just sitting around, twiddling our thumbs. We're all on our phones, like, just talking.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, but anyway, it set us back too with time because, we had planned on taking pictures before. I remember one thing that really bothered me was that a lot of people seen me in my dress before I went down the aisle because we were out taking pictures and people started to get there.
mhm,
But I know that's not that big of a deal. I know I had bigger things to worry about than that, but
yeah,
still, you plan all this for this one day and then one thing goes wrong and it ruins other things and it's just upsetting.
yeah,
But anyway, other than that, everything else went okay except for the food. I know we had drama with the food. Like our food was it turned out so bad. Like the food got cold because they didn't prepare to be outside set up and it was cold that day and like we had a couple people that had like allergies that they didn't accommodate for even when we told them that we needed extra plates, to the
yeah.
side
Didn't they
specifically
also,
for
like
those people.
didn't they also, like, I remember, um, was it you and Noelle weren't getting like, y'all didn't get food first? Or am
Oh
I
yeah, like no, so they were supposed to they had told us when we went and like booked through them like like the catering. They had told us, well, like we will save y'all a plate, and they told us they said there's going to be plenty of food for everybody, but we will save y'all a plate and make sure it's kept warm for y'all when y'all sit down because, we were going to be the last people to sit down because we were going to be doing our dances and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I remember Katie Beth like came over to us and she was like, "Have y'all ate yet?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "I'll be right back." And she went and got us plates and they were already out of the pot roast cuz we had pot roast and chicken.
Yeah, I
And
remember I
mhm,
remember y'all not having food, and I remember the DJ getting so mad. That DJ was a real one. Shout out to that DJ.
that
Um,
DJ was so cool. I loved him.
he was amazing. I just remember him looking because he looked at y'all and he was like, "Y'all don't have food yet?" and the maid of honor was like, "No, they don't have food yet." And he said, "I'll be right back." And he got up and
Oh,
walked
it's
over there
young.
and was like
Yeah.
fixing y'all plates and like I remember he made sure he came to each and one of he came to all of us, the bridesmaids, groomsmen, he came to all of us and made sure that all of us had plates.
Oh,
Um and he was great. He was awesome.
yeah. I probably remembered that wrong. Maybe it wasn't the coordinator. I do remember him doing that.
I remember him getting up and being like, "Y'all don't have plates yet?" And you were like,
Mhm.
"No." And he said, "I'll be right back."
Yeah, he was cool. He played good music too, low key.
Mhm. He did.
Yeah.
And any song request we had, he said, "I got you."
Yep. And he kept it sorta like he knew the audience. Like he knew what to play and what not to play.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I remember
Well,
Noel was really happy with the car that we got to take when we did our, um, what's it called? Our exit.
yeah.
He was
I
really
will
happy.
say one of the other negative things I remember about your wedding is your, cousin's kids,
Oh
who
my
could not
gosh,
behave.
they honestly, it's the parents' fault.
Yes, it's always the parents' fault. They're kids. Kids cry.
Yeah, but they
You cannot blame a kid for crying. That's
yeah,
like that's like blaming a bird for flying. You can't do that.
yeah,
It doesn't work.
and and instead of them just walking them out, they would just yell at them, like, in the middle of the ceremony.
Right, like, take your kid out of the equation because you are ruining everyone's experience.
Right.
You're ruining everyone's experience, you're ruining the bride's experience, you're ruining the groom's experience, the family of the bride and groom, and all the attendees. You're ruining every single person's experience.
Yeah,
And
and another
for
thing
the
too,
for the
we
bride and
paid
groom especially, this is gonna be your one wedding, your one time,
right.
your one day.
Mm. And we paid, a good amount of money for this to be recorded, and,
Mhm.
here your kids are crying their eyes out in the middle of it.
Yes, and I remember them so for context, the ceremony took place outside, and it was, like, kind of in the woods, but not really. It was surrounded by trees, and it was very rocky, and there was a path leading up to um, where the ceremony was being held and, like, all the pews and stuff. It was like a gravel, like, road, and the gravel road went uphill, so you had to walk up the hill to get up to where the ceremony was. These these people with these kids, they did finally take their kid out at some point, but they like walked all the way down and it wasn't very far, like it wasn't a very far walk. So of course this kid is crying at the top of their lungs and you can still hear them. And the preacher is preaching, trying to get y'all wed, and he's talking, and you can still hear this kid crying over everything. He's crying over the music. Like it was and I hate that. Like it sucks to like have to look back on that on your special day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's always gonna be things though, like, even if we went back in time and knew that that stuff was gonna happen, there's no way that we could've went around it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, every wedding has its downfalls.
Yeah. Well, whenever I get married, I'm having a no kid wedding. If you're invited to the wedding and you have kids, I gave you a date. So it's up to you then to find a babysitter for said date.
We'll see. We were gonna do
Capiche?
that, but and now a lot of people that we didn't know very well, everybody we knew well, but people that we weren't super close to and that had a kid that the kid didn't know who I was or didn't really know who I was, I did not invite their kids. But
Mhm.
now I know a couple people brought kids, and I know one of them that brought their kids was one of Noel's friends, and the only reason why and let them bring the kid was they didn't bring their older kid, which was like 3 or 4, but they brought their baby. But their baby was only like 2 months old.
Hmm.
So I mean, still, but he didn't cry or anything, and I know she would have taken him off to the side if he did.
Yeah.
I knew who to invite and who not to invite, but I couldn't not invite my cousins because I'm semi close to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't
Everybody's
know.
different though.
I feel like that's more of a, "Hey, come say hi, take pictures," but, like, not stay for the ceremony type thing. I
Yeah.
know, like, that's just me, though. I know I'm not everybody, but
Yeah. Other than that, though, I think everything went good. Like, I think everything turned out really pretty, and
it was great. The where the ceremony was taking place with all the rocks and everything, that was nice. Um,
it was
I
different.
and I will say, I rarely ever cry. I'm not a crier. I My mom told me when I was a baby that I was very good and I almost never cried about anything. I was very quiet. And I think that has followed me into adulthood because I'm very quiet and I rarely ever cry. And I shed a couple tears when I saw Maria walking down the aisle.
Oh, you cried too a little bit whenever me and Noelle did our first look, didn't you?
Um, I don't think I cried, but I was very happy for y'all. Like I was feeling the emotion. I feel like I definitely think that out of all the groomsmen's, I was into it the most because I think the other
Right.
guys were kind of like whatever. But because all the girls, it's different for the girls because it's a different experience. But I think all
Yeah.
the bridesmaids were very into it. I think I was in the same state of mind as them than the groomsmen's because the groomsmen's they're just like smiling whatever.
Yeah.
Like good for y'all. But me, I'm like like that's so cute.
I mean, you were the only groomsman too that was closer to me
Exactly. Yeah.
than the other guys, so
Yeah, I have a different
compared to
perspective on it
Noelle.
too. Um, but no, yeah, I definitely and it's funny, we point this out every time we watch back your wedding video. They caught me on camera crying as you're walking down. Or
Yes,
they
the
they
video
have a
turned out so good.
they have a still of me crying. It's funny. My lip is quivering and I'm like smiling but I'm frowning. It's so cute. It's so funny. It's not cute, it's ugly, but um oh, it's funny.
So, like, when okay, so I was gonna ask you about this too, on this episode, like, how was Noel that day? Like, did he seem nervous or,
He
like, what was his
did
vibe?
He did, but I think Noel was ready to marry you, but really he was fed up with all of the planning and like I could feel it. He was just ready for the day to be over. He was ready
Yeah,
to walk you down the aisle, kiss you, and say, "All right, this is my wife," and he's ready to
yeah.
go home.
He's
Cause
he's not a people person either, so, like,
no,
yeah.
no, we were sitting in that room for hours. And I remember getting there so early because you told us to be there at a certain time, and I was like, "Okay." I think you told us to be there at 9, and I was like, "Okay,
Oh, it was
sure."
that early, was it?
Yes, you told us to be there early. Not as early
Oh, I
as
thought it was
as
12.
not as early as the girl. No, I'm pretty sure we got there at 9. 9 or
I was
10.
scared y'all was gonna be late.
Huh?
I was scared y'all was gonna be late.
No, I would not be late to your wedding, and if I was, it would be, like, by a half hour at most.
Well, I had one girl that was late.
Yes, but I'm your best friend, I'm not gonna be late to your freaking wedding.
Okay.
And
Well,
even if I was
I
gonna be
didn't know
late,
about
I
the
would
other
I
boys.
would I would be there before the ceremony started no matter what.
Yeah, but, I mean, you never know, I coulda needed you for something else. Plus, we had
He
pictures before the ceremony.
Yeah, I know. I was there early. Um, I wasn't the last groomsman to get there. I think Jedediah was, but
Mhm. Figures.
Yeah, I think he was the last one to get there. But no, I was there and ready and bored, and I was sitting there talking to the guys, and then we ended up making that TikTok, and none of them were into it. I was trying to get them in like a good like I was trying to get them into a fun mood. I was like, "Come on, guys, like let's have fun, like let's not be bored," and they just weren't into it.
See, and Noelle
So
ain't even friends with half of them now. So
yeah, and well, I feel like y'all didn't y'all end up making a TikTok, or am I crazy?
no, we did, and I
Yeah,
never posted it though.
yeah, but I think I remember watching it though. I think you showed it to me, and I remember y'all being like y'all were all so into it, and y'all were all just there to have a good time. And it was just the vibe was totally different because in my video, you can tell that they are being forced to make this video and they don't want to be a part of it. It's so funny.
Honestly, you should have just came in there with us.
I wish, but I mean I did. I came in there once or twice. But then I kept getting kicked out because y'all were like, "Okay, we have to go get dressed. We have to go do this." And it's like, "Please
There
just let
was a
me."
lot of naked women in that room that day.
Yes, but let's be so honest. I'm not staring at nobody. I will be looking at my phone. Just let me
I
sit in
know.
here, blindfold me, get me away from these men who all they want to talk about is how they can't wait to get drunk after leaving your wedding. That is all they talked about all day was how they could not wait to go drink. At least at
What they were talking about because we didn't even really have that much alcohol.
Well, okay. This is just me. My memory is a little hazy, and I don't really remember because Kaylee kept coming in there and stealing Blake to go do whatever.
Mm,
But so I was bored out of my mind, and I just remember them talking about wanting to drink the whole time. Like
mhm.
I know we had more conversations with that, but all I remember the conversation was about alcohol, guns, and motorcycles and stuff, cars.
Sounds
Typical guy talk, and
sounds very, very fun.
I'm sitting in there, and it sounds like Charlie Brown's parents. Wah, 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 alcohol, beer, alcohol, guns,
Boom.
beer, fishing.
Didn't y'all have trouble with the pants too?
I don't think so.
No? Maybe that was before. Cause y'all
I don't
rented y'all's suits and they got y'all's measurements mixed up.
I don't remember that. Mine fit just right. No, I also remember we kinda just sat there, and then they told us to get dressed, and we were like, "Oh, okay," and we got dressed, and then they were like and then we weren't taking pictures for another 2 hours, so I was like, "Why did we get dressed?" Because
Mm,
we were all I remember I showed up in, like, sweatpants and, like, a hoodie, and I was comfortable, and then they were like, "Okay, put your suits on," and so we all got dressed up, and then we're sitting there, and we're like, "What's going on with the pictures?" And they're like, "Oh, we're not taking pictures for another hour." And we're like, "Oh, why did we just get dressed then?" And they're like, "Oh, we just want you to be ready just in case." And I was like,
mm.
"Oh, well, it only takes us like 5 minutes to get dressed. Like, we're dudes. We have to button up our shirts and put a belt over our pants, and that's it."
Right.
All of our shoes were slot-ons or
Mhm.
slip-ons because they were just, they're dress shoes. You just slip them on.
I guess we were just scared that y'all was gonna take too long. I don't know. Not
That's
all that was my doings anyway. That was
I
mostly
know.
Caleb's doing.
That's a woman thing, though. Women always say that men will take longer. And then y'all sit down and do your hair and do your makeup, and 2 hours have gone by, and you're waiting for your nails to dry, and
Yeah, like I do my nails every time I go out, Kobe.
I was just that was a hyperbole, but the rest of it is
Okay.
so real.
Okay, whatever. I
No,
don't need hair and makeup every time I do it either.
honestly, I'm kind of talking about my mom because we would be like my mom was always the one to be like, "Okay, let's go," and we're like, "Okay, waiting on you," and she's like, "Oh, I still gotta do my hair and makeup." And
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
why did you rush us then? Oh, I just wanted y'all to be ready.
Honestly, though, I think part of the reason why the woman like, a woman does that is so she knows that she has to hurry, and it helps her with time, because everybody else is waiting on her.
Yo, I hate that feeling. Why would you wanna do that to yourself?
We like it rough, I guess.
I don't know, I guess that's the equivalent of, uh, you texting me you're on your way, and I'm like, "Okay," and then you're texting me, "Hey, I'm almost there, you ready?" And I'm still in bed, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready," as I'm, like, running to get in the shower.
It literally is the equivalent to that. It's
I
like, I don't
guess.
wanna do this unless I have to do it.
Right. No, I get it. Get
Until
that.
see?
Okay.
Alright, well, I guess that's it for our segment, or not our segment, our topic.
Well, actually,
So
I do wanna talk about one more thing. I wanna talk about, towards the end of your wedding, or towards the end of your wedding day, I wanna talk about the, dance at the, what do you call it? The not recital.
rehearsal?
No, after the wedding.
Reception.
Reception. I wanna talk about us dancing at the reception because it was so awkward, but we were also having the time of our lives. We were having so much fun dancing at your wedding.
Did you think it was awkward? I didn't think it was awkward.
It was awkward because the camera people were filming us and they kept getting like, okay, if they would have been filming us and but not being so obvious about it, which I know they were trying to get good videos and everything. But when I'm dancing and I turn around and there's a camera directly in my face, I'm getting so red.
That
Like,
sounds like a personal problem. I think you were the only one that was awkward because I don't think anybody else was awkward.
no, because Shayna was also very awkward because we kept doing the same thing. And um so was
That's so
Kayla. So was Kayla. Because we kept no, because me and Kayla kept looking at each other and laughing. We kept looking at each other and laughing because we turned around and the camera was on us. And she kept going, She said, I ain't dancing in front of that camera.
that
But
is
no,
so
we had a good time. And we had Luke doing the worm. I remember him doing the worm. That's a highlight.
that was
Me and Shayna were cracking up at that. Um,
Abraham got lifted like the Dirty Dancing lift.
yes, we did the Dirty Dancing lift. That was fun. We also didn't talk about with the bouquet toss and your aunt freaking
Oh yeah, my
turning
crazy
into
aunt.
your crazy aunt turning into She-Hulk and shoving everybody out of the way to snatch it.
She tried to freaking sabotage my wedding, and then she said, "Oop, me next."
The video the video of the bouquet toss is so funny because the bouquet is about to go to one girl. She reaches over in front of her and snatches it. It's
Like
so funny.
like her first marriage was something to die over.
Oh, she reached over and snatched it. That was so funny. And then I like the little where Noelle got on that little mechanic board and was like asking for tools, looking up your dress. That was funny.
Oh, the garter removal, that was good.
Yes, I remember
Yeah, he ended up getting
eyes
his
with your mom and having the biggest giggle.
so, you know why he was under my dress for so long?
Why?
Because the drill that he had in his hand got stuck in my dress.
Oh yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, what is taking him so long?" Because, it's supposed to be like a joke for the most part.
You're like, get
Was
out from under me right now.
Yeah, because I mean, I had people I went to church with and everything there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I mean, I could care less, you know what I mean? Like, we're married, it doesn't matter. Like, I could care less what they think. But at the same time, it's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a guy underneath my husband is underneath my dress right now in front of everybody."
Right, like what if you farted?
Oh, I wouldn't have cared.
He would've.
Can't smell that good.
Oh, true.
So,
Well, do you have anything else that you wanna add to your of talking about your wedding?
I don't think so.
Alright, well, I guess it's time for the handy dandy question of the day, Maria. You already know what I'm about to ask you.
What did I eat
What'd you
today?
eat today?
So let's see. I had a cutie patootie. for breakfast. You know, like the little
What
oranges.
is that? Oh, like a cutie.
Cuties. Cuties, yeah. Um, it was like an 8 out of 10, pretty juicy.
Mhm.
And then for lunch, I had what did I have? Oh, I had chicken tenders and mozzarella sticks from Sonic.
Mhm.
Those were really good.
Again, not sponsored.
Right. And then a Diet Dr. Pepper to drink. The Diet
Mhm.
Dr. Pepper was a 10 out of 10. Love, love, love. The mozzarella sticks were a 10 out of 10. They were hot. They were juicy. They were giving. They were cheese pull. It was giving today. Like best cheese sticks I've ever had from there, to be honest.
Right.
Chicken tenders were kind of mid. I'm gonna give them like a 6 or 7 out of 10 because they were really hard and small and not that good.
Sonic's chicken tenders are always like that, though.
Well,
Honestly,
hit or miss.
Sonic does not have good food. I will die on this hill. Sonic does not have good food. They have good drinks, they have good ice cream, and they have good snacks. They do not have good food. They have good snacks.
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
that's not really relevant though coming from you because you're very picky. So like
Okay,
you
but
can't
still,
really say much.
any food item I've had from Sonic, and even a lot of people that I know has said that Sonic food is gross because it is. They put it in a steam drawer. It's not fresh.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is like their burgers are okay to me, but they have kind of a weird taste sometimes, I feel like, and I always
It's
feel
because they're
like
sitting in a
gross.
drawer.
Yeah, I always feel like gross when I eat one.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, like their cheese sticks are good, like
Their
for
cheese
sure.
sticks are always good, but I consider
Yeah.
that a snack. I don't consider that a meal.
Yeah. And I like their cheese fries. Those are really good. But anyway, but yeah, that was good. And then tonight I had just had leftover chicken tacos that I made a couple nights ago, and honestly, they were like a 7.5 out of 10 because leftovers.
Mhm.
And then I had a water to drink with that, and that's all I ate today. I ate some Skittles right before the podcast.
How were those?
Not that good, like 5 out of 10. They were kind of hard.
You know, I think Skittles are overrated.
Really,
Yep, I think Skittles are overrated.
I like Skittles.
I think I don't know. I just don't really care for them. I think that they're very mid. There's better
Yeah.
candy out there.
Oh yeah.
Maria, what is your song of the week this week?
My song of the week is kind of a not a throwback, but kind of a throwback from 2021, so not that long ago. Beautiful Mistakes by Maroon 5 and Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, I am gonna put y'all on this week. This song has been stuck in my um the song has been stuck in my head. It's been stuck on repeat. I played it the other day and my boyfriend was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that song? It was good." And he was like, "Add that song to my playlist." And I said, "Okay." Image by Magdalena Bay. So good.
Hmm,
All right.
period.
Um, I feel like we're forgetting something. What are we forgetting?
I don't think we can mark anything off of our bingo cards, right?
I don't think so. I still wish that I would have put Addison Rae on there instead of Madison Beer, but I digress. I digress. Danny DeVito hasn't died yet, so I can't mark anything off. Kidding, kidding. Um,
Let me skim over mine. I don't think we're missing anything.
no, I don't know. I think
Um,
I feel like something's missing, but I think that's just a me thing. Like that's definitely just a me thing.
I know this is not. This just reminded me. This kind of has something to do with it, but it's not definitely not space worthy. But I put Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives is coming back. I actually saw that he has come out with his own sauce at Walmart.
Uh, okay, I know we're like towards the end here. I just need to rant really quick. I miss Chicken Guy. Chicken Guy, why'd you go so soon? You were only here for like a year or 2 years.
Did they close
And
down?
they did. Did you not know that? Did I not tell you that?
Mm, mm-mm.
I wanted to go there one day because I was going out with like some people from work, I'm pretty sure, and we were trying to find a place to go eat. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's go to Chicken Guy because that'll be different. That'll be cool. It'll be in Nashville. Um, and yeah, it was gone. When I looked it up, the nearest one is like a couple states away. So I was like, oh. But I also remember a couple months ago, right before season 47 of Survivor came out. I'm a huge Survivor fan, by the way. We need to talk about Survivor one day on the podcast. Oh my gosh. Anyways, um me and one of my coworkers who is also a huge Survivor fan, we heard about the Survivor Beach Drop event in Nashville where they were like setting up a tent and you could come meet some like Survivor players and you can meet like some of the CBS like people that work at CBS like casting and stuff and you could
Mhm.
like potentially get on the show or like it was like a potential casting call thing and
Yeah.
so me and my coworker went because we were like, "Oh my gosh, like we love Survivor, let's go." Um, Honestly, I just need to talk about this on the podcast one day, so I'm not gonna mention too much. But I Chicken Guy it was on that street where they were having the Survivor event. Chicken Guy was like on the same street, and we were going, and I walked by it, and I noticed that like Chicken Guy was gone. Like the building was there, but it was like empty, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." But yeah, rest in peace, Chicken Guy. Anyways, we will stop rambling. Um, thank you guys again for tuning
Yeah.
in. If you made it this far, that is it for this week's episode. Tune in next Friday for next time. We will be talking about whatever we decide to talk about next week. Maria, do you have anything to add?
I do have one thing to mention on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
while we're still recording.
Yep.
So, Timberloft, the restaurant,
Yep.
did you hear what happened?
Yes, Timberloft is the loft now. They're not Timberloft anymore. But yes,
I know.
I saw that there was a fire or something
Yeah.
today.
Yep. Yep. It was on fire, and I'm pretty sure it's like not salvageable.
Dang.
So kind of crazy. But
Kinda crazy.
a lot of people are on Facebook posting that it was insurance fraud, but I think that is so rude to like just assume and post about.
Yeah, but that's so our small town to do that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
so that county.
Yep. Very true.
That's Yep,
But
that's so
just wanted to
small
throw
town
that out
coded.
there.
All right. Well, follow us on Instagram for any possible updates that may bring. Please share this podcast with a friend or someone that you might think will enjoy us rambling. Like, comment, subscribe, help us with that algorithm, help us grow so that we can get more listeners and bring you more and more episodes. This has been All Jokes Aside. Thank you for
Thanks, guys.
listening.
Y'all have a
Bye.
good week.
Have a great
Bye.
week.